home and stop by. We've got some big old friendly horses that the kids can come out and pet and feed carrots to and kind of just get up next to. And what they need to do is often get over the whole idea and size of a horse, because it's a lot more than a lot of them have imagined or bargained for. And so they'll do this even 2 or 3 times before we talk to them about seriously starting some riding lessons. Because if the kid isn't ready emotionally and mentally for this, it's not a good idea. It's literally not going to be a good thing for either the horse or the child involved. But taking this kind of a theme, we can do that for those in our community that are having a hard time coming up with a present for their children, and we can have them, invite them over to the farm, and we'll put up a big bag of carrots or some sliced apples and have these children out and let them spend some time, maybe a half hour, 40 minutes, and get them out to the horses. For most kids, they really don't get to do this, and if they're asking about horses, if they're dreaming about horses, and a lot of kids are, it makes a really nice break, and it gets them out of the house, gives the parents a little bit of a break, and doing something very different. So call up your pastor and see if there's a family that is having a tough time this Christmas, and maybe invite them out and bring the kids and just spend some time hanging out with the horses. And they might even want to pick up a brush and brush them a little bit. And if they've got the age and a little size to them, you might even throw them up on one of the horses, lead them around. It really doesn't take much to make these kids happy and to do something that they never have done or have only dreamed about, and take their minds off what's going on in their life and fulfill that fantasy for them. I mean, we take it for granted because our horses are available to us every day. In fact, there are days that we're looking for reasons not to go out there. But we know in our hearts that these are very special animals. We're very blessed to have them. And in the Christmas season, it's really great to share those with those in need and those that are looking for a little pick-me-up during that hard Christmas season that they can't quite make it as merry as they would like to. It's a chance for you to put that old horse in the Christmas theme and get him out there and let the kids spend some time with him. Again, I guarantee you that this will help you really get hold of that Christmas spirit. When you see those children smiling and laughing and giggling around that old horse, you'll know you did the right thing this Christmas. It'll make a big difference to that family and those children, and your horse might even enjoy it too. So there's another idea for you to work on how you can make a difference this Christmas in your community and to maybe members and families of your church or of your workplace. Invite them out there, get those kids involved, and make it an event for them. It really, like I say, it's what Christmas is all about, is doing a little bit extra for those that need our help. I don't know if any of you have thought about it, but another thing that we need to do this time of year is really make sure that we are set up for our horses. The winter gets tougher and the pastures get a little leaner. And we talked about this a week or two ago on the show. And one of the things that we talked about then was having a couple different kinds of hay. And this is getting back to the old nutrition thing. But your horse needs that variety. And as we get into this winter and we start feeding hay, if we can in any way, shape, or form get it from 2 or 3 different sources, I highly recommend that, and that we alternate that feed to help your horse out during this cold winter season so that he gets a break and he gets a variety in that feed that helps balance his nutritional needs. As we remind folks here, horses are natural grazers, and they want to move from spot to spot. And when they're in a stall, when they're in a smaller pasture, or when that pasture's kind of played out for the winter, and we've got to add some hay to that, add that variety to that hay. And like I say, try and get it from 2 or 3 different sources so that the makeup, mineral, and nutrition, it varies a little bit, and it'll help our horse get through this season and keep that weight on him, keep his energy up, and help them deal with that much colder weather. And so it's a reminder here that it's one of those things we've got to address. And again, it's not quite Christmassy, but your horse needs it, and he'll definitely appreciate it. When we talk about Christmas on that, one of the things I don't recommend, and people sometimes get upset, but do not think about overly decorating the barn. If you want to put up a wreath or something like that, I think that's great. But I caution folks putting up lights and things of this nature. Horses are notoriously curious. They tend to want to play with things, and most of the lighting that we would put up around the area, we don't think about the reach of a horse if he's let loose out the backside of the barn or something like that. And if we've got a string of lights up there, you'll be amazed what they're suddenly putting their lip and their tongues on. And like I say, these things might be weatherproof, but I guarantee you they're not horseproof. And so keep the decorations around your barn kind of modest. Same way with things like the string lights that look like icicles and things like that. Your horse is probably going to fool with them if he can reach them. So if you do put something like that up, make sure they're high enough that your horse doesn't get hold of them, because I surely don't want to see the Christmas season turn into a tragedy for you. And like I say, horses are, 1,200 pounds looking for a place to have an accident sometimes, and you really don't want to have that happen during the Christmas season. So if you do decorate your barns, think about what your horse can get to and get in, and make sure that he can't get to it or get in it, because again, it'll ruin your whole holidays. And even if it's just something as simple as getting tangled up in it and getting a wire cut or something like that, and nothing more serious, it's still going to spoil that holiday season. So keep the barn decorations to a minimum. If you're decorating out in front of the property, make sure that the horses can't reach them over the fence and get involved in them that way. Again, there's no end to what a horse can get into, and put those thoughts in mind as you do that type of thing around the farm. Again, I'm not against it, but it's just a reminder that if your horse can get into it, he will, and I guarantee you if there's a way to hurt himself, they'll figure out how to do it. So a little caution here, a little extra thought to what you might be putting up or put around, and particularly if you've sprayed it with any kind of a foamy thing trying to make it look like snow or something. Horses tend to gnaw on that kind of thing, and we don't want them to ingest that. So again, we're all for having the Christmas spirit. We're all for putting up some decorations, but do that with a little bit of caution, a little bit of eye to what kind of trouble it might bring you, and what surprises your horse may have for you on Christmas morning if they get tangled up in it or something. One of those things I say we don't think about very often. Also, if you're going to be traveling over the holidays, you're going to have somebody come in and look after your horses. Make a point of calling and checking in. This is the time of year that we get those sudden hard freezes, and if you crack a pipe or something like that while you're gone, your caretaker may not know how to deal with it, may not be prepared to, or they may not recognize that, for instance, that the floats might have frozen out there in the water tank, and they don't know enough to go out there and bust it loose every morning. And again, this is the type of thing that a simple phone call back to the farm, checking on a few of the things that we do daily without even thinking about it. And I remember being up in Nevada many years ago and